Friends, today we are going to discuss development finance institutions in our country. Development finance institutions are very important because they supply long term and medium term capital to the industrial sector, agriculture sector, and other infrastructure, etc., and through which the economy can invest a lot of money in the capital, and that will definitely accelerate the development of our economy. So let us see what are the different type of development financial institutions working in our country. The economic development of any country depends on the extent to which its financial system mobilizes and allocates resources. There are a number of banks and financial institutions that perform this function. One of them is the development bank. So, what is development bank? Development banks are unique financial institutions that perform the special task of fostering the development of a nation, generally not undertaken by other banks. So please bear in mind the point, generally not undertaken by other banks. So commercial banks also lend money for development purpose, but they do not lend money, huge money for a very long period of time. So that is why we have established development banks exclusively for the purpose of lending money to to institutions, to sectors which actually foster the country's economic development. So simply put, development banks are unique financial institutions that perform the special task of fostering the development of a nation, generally not undertaken by other banks. They provide medium and long term financial assistance and promote balanced development of the country. They are engaged in promotion and development of industry, agriculture, and other key sectors. They also provide development services that can aid in the accelerated growth of an economy. So, medium long term financial assistance they provide, and they promote balanced regional development, balanced sectoral development, and they promote agriculture, industry, and other key sectors, including infrastructure sector, and they also offer a number of development services to the economy. What are the key objectives of development banks in our country? To serve as an agent of development in various sectors, namely industry, agriculture, and international trade. To accelerate the growth of the economy, to allocate resources to high priority areas, to foster rapid industrialization, particularly in the private sector, so as to provide employment opportunities as well as higher production, to develop entrepreneurial skills, to promote the development of rural areas, to finance housing, small scale industries, infrastructure, and social utilities. So, these are the important objectives for which development banks have been established. Now, in addition to these objectives which have highlighted, the development banks have been assigned a special role, and these special roles are as follows. First, they help in planning, promoting, and developing industries to fill the gaps in the industry sector. Means an economy might experience certain gaps in the industrial development. So, to fill such gaps, these development financial institutions stand to plan, promote, and development industries. Secondly, coordinating the working of institutions engaged in financing, promoting, or developing industries, agriculture, and trade. So, there are a number of financial institutions offering services and finance to industrial, agriculture, and trade, but these institutions need to be coordinated. Sometimes some institutions may be given some refinance opportunities. So, for all these purposes, development financial institutions are very essential. Thirdly, rendering promotional services such as discovering project ideas, undertaking feasibility studies, and providing technical, financial, and managerial assistance for the implement of projects. So, simply speaking, development financial institutions, in addition to providing credit for a long period of time, also help the companies in the industrial, agriculture, and infrastructure sector with the preparation of projects report, and they also do feasibility studies for the companies, and through that the companies can come to understand whether the industry they start will be successful or not. Let us look at the evolution of development banks in our country. How have these development banks come to our country? In fact, the concept of development banking actually it was not originated in our country. It was originated during the post-World War period. Many countries of Europe were in the stage of industrial development, and special financial institutions known as development banks were set up in Europe to foster industrial progress immediately after the Second World War. At the international level, we have two important banks which can be considered as development banks. One is the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, IBRD, means abbreviated as World Bank, and International Monetary Fund. So these are the two important international institutions working for the development of industrial, agriculture, and other sectors. The need for a development financial institution was firstly felt in our country after independence. The country needed at that time a strong capital goods sector, but there were gaps in the banking system and capital market which needed to be filled to meet the enormous requirement of fund. To fill these gaps, a new institutional machinery was devised, and thus it led to the setting up of specialized development financial institutions in our country. The first step towards building a structure of development financial institution was undertaken in 1948 by establishing Industrial Finance Corporation of India. The institution was set up by an act of parliament with a view to providing medium and long term credit to units in the corporate sector and industrial concerns. So the first step towards building industrial financial institution was undertaken as early as in 1948 by the government of India with the establishment of the Industrial Finance Corporation of India. And this institution was expected to provide long-term and medium financial assistance to corporate sector and industrial concerns. And in view of the vast size of the country, it became necessary that each state had to set up its own financial corporations. And this idea led to the establishment of state financial corporations in 1951. A new corporation was established in 1955 at the all India level known as National Small Industries Corporation to extend support to only small scale sectors. Now, in 1955, the Industrial Credit and Investment Corporation of India Limited was set up with the support of Government of India, World Bank, and the Commonwealth Development Finance Corporation and other foreign institutions. The ICICI was organized as a fully privately owned institution. It provided term loans and took an active part in underwriting and direct investment in the shares of industrial units. Thereafter, in 1958, Reliance Refinance Corporation for Industry was set up by the RBI, Life Insurance Corporation of India, and commercial banks with a view to provide free finance facilities to commercial banks and subsequently to state finance corporations. And in 1964, Industrial Development Bank of India was set up as a central coordinating agency in the field of industrial finance. And later on, the RCI or Refinance Corporation of India was merged with the Industrial Development Bank. At the state level, another type of institution, namely State Industrial Development Corporation (SIDC), was established in 60s to promote small scale, medium, large industries in the respective states. By the early 1960s, a plethora of financial corporations catering to the financial needs of a variety of industries had come to existence. And as we explained in 1964, Industrial Development Bank of India was set up as an apex institution to establish an appropriate working relationship among financial institutions and companies. The Industrial Financial Corporation of India became a subsidiary of the IDBI so that it might play an enlarged role. And the Unit Trust of India was established in 1975. IDBI was restructured and separated from the control of the RBI. And Unit Trust of India, UTI, Life Insurance Corporation, and General Insurance Corporation means established in 1973, was closely with all other financial institutions. Means these institutions actually UTI, LIC, and JIC. They work closely with all other institutions to meet financial requirements of the industrial sector. And in 1971, Industrial Reconstruction Corporation of India Limited (IRCI) was set up for the rehabilitation of the sick units. Sick units are units which make regular losses. So, to help the sick units to come out of their difficulties, a special development finance institution was set up by the government in 1971. It is called Industrial Reconstruction Corporation of India, IRCI. In January 1982, Export Import Bank of India was set up specifically to finance export and import activities in our country. The Export Finance Corporation of the IDBI was transferred to the Exim Bank. IDBI had an export finance operation wing, and that was actually transferred to the Exim Bank with effect from March 1st, 1982. And with a view to strengthen and cater to the needs of the agriculture and rural sectors, credit needs of the agriculture and rural sectors, the National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development was set up in July 1982. So overall, at the all India level, the national level, institutions in the development finance field can be called all India financial institutions. These All India financial institutions consist of two All India development banks known as term lending institutions, three refinance institutions, and two investment institutions, and one specialized financial institutions. The term lending institutions are Industrial Finance Corporation of India Limited, Export Import Bank of India, and Tourism Finance Corporation of India Limited. The three refinance institutions are National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, Small Industries Development Bank of India, National Housing Bank (NHB). These institutions extend refinance to banks as well as non-banking financial intermediaries for lending to agriculture, small-scale industries, and housing finance companies. The two investment institutions are Life Insurance Corporation, General Insurance Corporation, and the specialized financial institutions comprise Infrastructure Development Finance Company. At the state level, there are 18 state financial corporations and 28 state industrial development corporations. So with this, we end this discussion on development financial institutions in our country. You have to just understand the names of the development financial institutions and what are the role of the development or objective of development financial institutions in our country. And with this, we end this video. Thank you.